Drones can take our breath away by giving us views we've never seen before.
Hidden deep in a quiet ravine, a drone captured something that left viewers frozen. Old secrets buried by time were revealed, showing a chilling scene no one was meant to see. What did it find down there, and why does everyone talk about it? Join us as we uncover 15 chilling drone discoveries, with the fourth one being the scariest. Number 15. Abandoned Disney River Country Water Park. There was once a place in Florida where families came to swim, play, and laugh under the warm sun. This place was Disney's River Country, the first water park opened by Disney in 1976. It had fun slides, a lazy river, a sandy bottom lake, and places for kids to splash while parents relaxed nearby. It was filled with bright colors, happy music, and the smell of sunscreen and snacks as children's laughter echoed through the air. But as time passed, new water parks were built with more attractions and modern designs. Slowly, fewer visitors came to River Country. By 2001, it closed its gates, and what was once a place of fun and family memories was left empty. At first, people thought it would reopen, but it never did. Instead, nature began to take over the water slides and pools, and the bright colors faded under the sun and rain. Drone footage shows a sad yet peaceful sight of what River Country has become. Slides that once carried laughing children are now covered in vines, and the pools that once splashed with clear water have turned into still ponds filled with algae and fallen leaves. Walkways are cracked and weeds push through the concrete, claiming the space once filled with people. The snack bars and ticket booths are empty, with broken windows and rusting doors. Birds now fly over the park, landing on the slides and railings where children once stood. The water is quiet, with small ripples moving across the green surface as frogs and insects have found a new home in the abandoned pools. Nature has taken over the magic, turning the park into a hidden world where the past quietly rests. Disney's River Country has become a memory of what was once a place of happiness and summer fun. It is now a silent, hidden place where only the sounds of nature can be heard, reminding us of how time can change even the happiest places, leaving them for the earth to reclaim. If you found this forgotten water park magical in its silence, get ready to discover a surprising sight in Bali, where a giant airplane sits at the edge of the jungle, becoming a new mystery waiting to be explored. Number 14. Silent airplane at the edge of the jungle in Bali. In Bali, a strange and surprising sight greets those who pass by a limestone quarry near a busy road. There, sitting quietly under the sun, is a white Boeing 737 airplane. It is not at an airport, and there is no runway nearby. Instead, this airplane sits surrounded by palm trees, rocks, and green plants, making it look like it has fallen out of the sky and found a home in the jungle. This airplane did not crash here. It was brought in pieces and placed in this spot with the hope of turning it into a restaurant or tourist attraction. However, the plans never moved forward, and the airplane was left behind, waiting quietly in the heat. The engines are gone, but the body of the plane is still intact, with its wings stretching out and the windows reflecting the bright sun. Drone footage captures the unusual beauty of this scene. From above, the white plane stands out against the green jungle and brown rocks, looking like a giant bird resting in a hidden nest. The stairs used to enter the airplane are still there, leading up to the doors that are sometimes opened for curious visitors. The inside of the airplane is empty, with seats removed and the floor bare, but it still smells of metal and the air feels warm inside. The jungle around the airplane is slowly growing closer, with vines creeping up the landing gear and small plants pushing through cracks in the surrounding concrete. Birds rest on the wings, and the quiet breeze moves the leaves around the plane, adding to its calm and mysterious presence. Number 13. Morel Sea Forts. High above the restless waves of the Thames estuary, the Morel Sea Forts stand like lonely giants holding stories of war, pirates, and radio waves. Originally, there were 3 forts, each with a strong central command tower surrounded by 7 smaller stilted buildings linked by catwalks. These forts were not built at sea but carefully made on land, then floated and placed into position, a clever solution during the pressures of World War II. Their primary job was to guard London from air and sea attacks, with anti-aircraft guns ready for any threats. In the 1950s, their official duty ended, and the forts fell silent. But their life was not over. The Nor Army fort was hit by severe storms and suffered from ship collisions, which damaged its structure beyond repair, leading to its dismantling. However, Red Sands and Shivering Sands forts found new purpose in the 1960s and 1970s when rebellious minds took over these abandoned towers to create pirate radio stations. These stations broadcast music and cultural messages that mainstream radio would not air, dancing beyond the reach of government control, adding another layer to the fort's history. Over time, the forts began to crumble under harsh winds and salty air. The catwalks fell apart, and rust crept over the metal structures. Exploring these forts today is dangerous, and drones are used to capture their eerie beauty safely. The forts, with the sea constantly crashing below, have become haunting landmarks of a bygone era, reminding us of war, freedom, and time's unstoppable march. These sea forts hold many secrets, but if you think that was chilling, keep watching to see what lies under the dark waters where a legendary pirate once sailed. Number 12. Blackbeard Cannon. Beneath the Atlantic Ocean near North Carolina, the cold sea has kept a piece of history hidden for nearly 300 years. Marine archaeologists using an underwater drone discovered a cannon from Blackbeard's fearsome ship, the Queen Anne's Revenge. This cannon connected the present to the golden age of piracy, reminding people of a time when pirates ruled the sea, and Blackbeard was one of the most feared among them. In 1718, the Queen Anne's Revenge met its fate when it ran aground near Beaufort Inlet. Blackbeard, who had captured the ship earlier and turned it into a pirate flagship, used it to strike fear into the hearts of sailors from the American coast to the Caribbean. 117 to 127. For a long time, people did not know where the ship had sunk until 1996, when a team from the North Carolina Department of Natural and Cultural Resources found the wreckage. Recovering the cannon was not easy. It was covered in layers of barnacles and marine life that had made the cannon their home for centuries. Divers used special tools to clear away the sand and growth before carefully lifting the cannon from the ocean floor, ensuring it did not break apart during the process. The cannon, once cleaned, revealed details of its construction that gave more information about the ship's operations during its pirate days. This discovery was a victory for historians, helping them understand how pirates lived and fought during the early 1700s. Number 11. Radiation leaking from submarine. Deep in the cold waters of the Barents Sea lies a silent threat from the Cold War, a Soviet nuclear submarine resting on the ocean floor with a deadly secret. In 1989, a tragic fire broke out on this submarine during a patrol under Arctic ice. Flames and chaos spread, and despite the bravery of its crew, 42 men lost their lives as the submarine sank, carrying with it a nuclear reactor and 2 warheads. Decades passed, but the dangers of this underwater grave did not disappear. Recent expeditions using advanced underwater drones equipped with sonar and radiation detectors discovered something alarming. Radiation was leaking from the submarine's hull into the surrounding waters. This discovery has raised serious concerns for the marine environment and nearby coastal areas, as the radioactive material can harm sea creatures and contaminate the food chain. Scientists and environmental groups are now working with governments to find solutions to stop further leakage and reduce its impact. The submarine's exact location is monitored closely, and studies continue to determine how best to safely contain the radioactive materials. The cold sea, which has hidden this relic of a bygone conflict, now carries a warning about the dangers left behind by the race for power during the Cold War. This silent threat under the sea is a reminder of how the past can continue to affect the present. If you think this was intense, stay with us to uncover the abandoned ghost town of Pripyat, where an eerie structure still stands watching the skies. Number 10. Duga Radar Station. Near the empty streets of Pripyat and the shadow of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, there stands a colossal structure reaching high into the sky, known as the Duga Radar Station. This radar system, with its long antennas, was once a crucial part of the Soviet Union's defense system, designed to detect incoming ballistic missiles from thousands of miles away during the Cold War. It was built to warn the Soviet Union of potential attacks, giving them time to prepare for defense. For many years, the Duga radar was active, sending out signals that interfered with radio and communication systems around the world. People could hear its tapping signal, and it earned the nickname the Russian woodpecker. It disturbed pilots, radio operators, and even television signals, causing confusion and rumors across different countries. Then one day, the radar went silent. For years it stood quietly, rusting and slowly falling apart, a giant skeleton reminding visitors of the tense days of the Cold War. However, suddenly, after years of silence, the radar started sending signals again, hopping between frequencies and causing brief disruptions. This sparked many theories and fears, with some believing it was a sign of secret experiments or surveillance activities. Drone footage now shows the radar in its eerie silence, towering over the forest near Chernobyl, a place already haunted by the nuclear disaster that occurred there. Number 9. Abandoned yacht. Abby Sunderland was only 16 when she decided to chase a big dream, to become the youngest person to sail around the world alone. She left California on her 40-foot yacht Wild Eyes, carrying hope, courage, and a dream to write her own story on the waves. But just 5 months into her journey, a violent storm in the Indian Ocean struck. The sea roared, waves reached 30 feet high, and Wild Eye's mast snapped like a twig. Abby found herself stranded more than 2,000 miles away from both Africa and Australia, alone in the middle of the ocean. For 20 long hours, her family could not reach her, and concern grew. Abby activated her yacht's emergency beacon, and rescue efforts started. A French fishing vessel found her and brought her safely to Reunion Island near Madagascar, ending her journey but saving her life. The dream to sail around the world had come to an end, but Abby's courage left a mark on many who followed her story. Almost 9 years later, in January 2019, Wild Eyes was discovered again. A drone operator near southern Australia found an upside-down, barnacle-covered yacht floating around 6 miles south of Kangaroo Island, a popular tourist area. When checked, it was confirmed to be the long-lost Wild Eyes, which had drifted thousands of miles over many years. Today, Wild Eyes is a quiet reminder of a young girl's bravery and the sea's wild power. It teaches that dreams are worth chasing, even if the sea does not always let us finish the journey the way we plan. But what did a drone find lying untouched at the bottom of the Black Sea, telling stories from a world long before ours? Number 8. World's oldest intact shipwreck. Deep under the dark waters of the Black Sea lies a window into history, where an ancient ship dating back to around 500 BC was found. This shipwreck, now known as the world's oldest intact shipwreck, was discovered among 72 other sunken vessels, but this one stood out for its remarkable preservation and historical significance. Using advanced drone technology and underwater cameras, marine archaeologists were able to locate and study this ship, marking a groundbreaking moment in underwater archaeology. The ship was carbon dated to be over 2,500 years old, and is believed to have been a merchant vessel during the ancient era, possibly used for trade across the Black Sea. The conditions of the Black Sea help preserve the ship well, as the deep waters lack oxygen, which slows down the decay of wood and organic materials. The ship's structure, including its mast, rudders, and the overall shape of its hull, remained intact, allowing historians and researchers to study its construction closely. Experts believe this ship may have been similar to the vessels depicted on ancient Greek vases, providing clues to what these vessels looked like and how they were built. Its discovery offers insight into ancient maritime trade routes, shipbuilding techniques, and the daily lives of sailors from a time long gone. The researchers documented every part of the ship using drones, taking high-resolution images to create detailed models for study, while ensuring the wreck remains undisturbed. Number 7. Airplane Boneyard. In the dry Arizona desert, under the blazing sun, lies a place that looks like a scene from another world. This place is the 390 Aerospace Maintenance and Regeneration Group, often called the Boneyard. Here, over 3,100 aircraft of different sizes and shapes rest in organized rows, creating a stunning, endless grid of history frozen in time. From a drone's view above, the Boneyard looks like a giant puzzle of metal, wings, and engines, each piece telling stories of past missions and the evolution of aviation. Aircraft such as the massive B-52 Stratofortress, the C-5 Galaxy, and the F-16 Fighting Falcon can be seen lined up, their faded paint and weathered surfaces bearing witness to years of service. But the Boneyard is not just a place where planes are left to decay. It serves as a hub where aircraft are carefully managed, with parts being removed and repurposed for other planes in active service, ensuring valuable resources are not wasted. The dry desert climate helps in preserving these aircraft for longer periods, reducing corrosion and making it easier to maintain and manage these retired giants. Workers and engineers walk through these lines of planes, salvaging engines, wings, and other essential parts, while some planes are stored for future use in emergencies or special missions. The Boneyard also attracts aviation enthusiasts and historians, who find it fascinating to see the progression of aviation technology all in one place. Number 6. Pot of Gold. In Brittany, France, demolition workers were busy tearing down an old abandoned house, unaware they were about to make a discovery that would bring excitement and surprise to their day. A drone operator, while inspecting the property, noticed something unusual in the attic and alerted the workers to be cautious. However, the real surprise was not in the attic but in the cellar of the house. While clearing the debris, the workers stumbled upon a peculiar shell-shaped container that rattled when moved, sparking their curiosity. When they opened it, their eyes widened with shock and joy as they found 600 gold coins inside. These coins bore the image of King Leopold II of Belgium and dated back to around 1870, making them not only valuable in terms of money but also as pieces of history. The workers immediately reported their discovery to the local authorities, who secured the coins and took them for safekeeping. The local media covered the story, sharing that the estimated worth of the treasure was over $150,000. Beyond its monetary value, the discovery of this pot of gold opened a window into the past, reminding people of hidden treasures and stories that old buildings can still hold. The coins may have belonged to someone who hid them during a time of uncertainty, intending to retrieve them later, but the secrets of why they were hidden there will likely remain untold. Number 5. 5 Stone Faces. High on the windswept peak of Mount Nemrut in Turkey lies a place that feels like stepping into another world, where history whispers in the cold mountain air. This is the funerary mound of Antiochus I of Commagene, a small but ambitious kingdom north of Syria and near the Euphrates River over 2,000 years ago. Antiochus, a ruler who wanted to leave behind something that would speak of his power for eternity, built this vast sanctuary in the 1st century BC, blending Greek, Persian, and Armenian influences into one grand structure. At the heart of this ancient site are its massive terraces, which once showcased colossal statues of gods, eagles, lions, and Antiochus himself, all watching over the sweeping landscape below. Over time, powerful earthquakes toppled these statues, leaving behind their giant heads scattered across the site like silent sentinels. Each stone head, carved from local rock, weighs several tons and stands taller than most people, with finely chiseled details that have endured harsh winds, heavy snow, and the relentless sun. From above, drones capture the full beauty of Mount Nemrut's terraces, showing the heads resting among gravel mounds, facing outward as if guarding the mountain. Their expressions are calm and mysterious, and their eyes, once painted to look lifelike, now hold a haunting emptiness that draws visitors closer. The heads of Zeus, Apollo, and Antiochus himself are arranged in a row, creating a powerful scene against the rugged mountain background. The sight becomes even more magical during sunrise and sunset, when golden light illuminates the faces, casting long shadows and adding to their timeless aura. Visitors who make the climb up the steep path to reach the summit find themselves surrounded by these ancient watchers, experiencing a deep connection to the past that feels almost spiritual. Mount Nemrut is not just a collection of old stones, it is a symbol of human ambition and the desire to leave a mark on history. This breathtaking place, captured beautifully by drones, gives people a new way to explore and understand ancient architecture without disturbing the fragile site. Now let's dive into the shocking discovery in a ravine. Number 4. A chilling discovery in the shadowy depths of an isolated ravine. Far away from the ocean, hidden deep in a quiet rocky valley surrounded by high cliffs and thick greenery, lies a sight that is both strange and unforgettable. A group of drone enthusiasts, eager to find abandoned places that the world had forgotten, set out to explore this isolated ravine, expecting to find old roads and collapsed cabins. Instead, they discovered something shocking: a broken wooden ship marooned far above any river or coastline. The ship, with its weathered hull and cracked wooden planks, stood lodged between two cliffs, its bow jutting out over the narrow winding road below like a watchful guardian. Its masts were broken, and the sails hung in ragged pieces that moved gently in the breeze, whispering secrets of the past. Barnacles and seaweed clung to its sides, hinting at a long-forgotten life in the sea before it came to rest in this unlikely place. As the drone circled the ship, capturing the eerie sight from all angles, the explorers could not help but wonder how it had ended up here. The valley was dry, and the nearest water source was miles away, making the ship's presence a puzzle. Back at their base, the team began researching the history of the area, Digging into old local stories and weather records, they discovered that the region had experienced severe flooding in the past, and some believed that these floods, combined with landslides, might have carried the ship inland, pushing it through rivers and over land until it became stuck between the cliffs. Others thought the ship could have been transported for a forgotten project or abandoned during a failed attempt to repurpose it for something else. No clear answer has been found, adding to the ship's mystery and making it a haunting reminder of how nature and time can create unexpected sights. Today, the ship remains there, slowly decaying under the open sky, visited only by curious hikers and captured by drones that allow people around the world to witness this strange spectacle. Number 3. Remnants of Cold War. On what was meant to be a regular weekend adventure, Oleg, an ATV rider and drone enthusiast, set out to explore the quiet, snow-dusted forests of Russia. It was a cold but dry winter day, making the usually muddy and swampy forest trails easier to ride through. Eager to find new paths, Oleg launched his drone to scan the area from above, looking for the safest way to navigate his ATV deeper into the thick, quiet woods. As the drone hovered and moved over the trees, Oleg noticed something strange on the screen. A rusted barbed wire fence appeared in the middle of nowhere, hidden among tall pines and bare branches. Curious, he decided to follow the fence, wondering what it could be protecting in such a lonely, forgotten place. As Oleg moved closer, the forest opened up to reveal a chilling sight. A cluster of rusted Cold War-era vehicles abandoned for decades standing in silence. Military trucks, some with their tires long gone and windows shattered, stood lined up like silent sentinels, their paint peeling and metal bodies covered in frost. These vehicles were once part of the Soviet Union's vast military operations, used to transport goods, soldiers, and equipment across harsh terrains. Nearby, he found pieces of old communication equipment, their wires tangled and antennas bent under years of neglect. Signs of past human activity were everywhere, but there were no footprints, no sounds, just the rustling of the cold wind through the trees. It was as if time had stopped around these relics, preserving them as a frozen memory of a tense time in world history. The Cold War, a period marked by deep mistrust and preparation for possible conflict, led to the creation of many hidden military sites like this one across Russia. These places were meant to stay out of sight, ready for use if tensions ever turned into action. Now many of them have been abandoned, slowly blending back into the forests that hide them. Oleg's drone captured the haunting beauty of the scene, showing the vehicles covered in snow, surrounded by trees, and the old fence that still tries to guard secrets no one remembers. Number 2. Abandoned luxury cruise ship in the Red Sea. Off the coast of Sudan, a giant luxury cruise ship sits quietly in shallow waters, forgotten by the world. Once, this ship was filled with families on vacation, enjoying sunny days and warm nights under the stars. Music and laughter floated over its decks as people relaxed by the pools and ate in bright dining halls. This floating hotel offered dreams of adventure and calm ocean breezes as it sailed the Red Sea, bringing hope and happiness to all who stepped aboard. But financial problems and regional conflicts changed everything. The cruise ship was left behind, unable to sail again. Slowly, rust began to creep across its white paint. Windows cracked, and the pools turned into still ponds covered with green algae. The ocean, which once carried this ship across beautiful waters, became its quiet keeper, rocking it gently in the waves while fish began to swim around its lower decks. Drone footage shows the haunting sight from above. The top deck, once shining under the sun, is now covered in rust and salt. Broken furniture sits scattered, telling silent stories of the people who once relaxed there. Hallways are empty, and rooms still hold beds and chairs, slowly falling apart. The grand dining areas are dark, with tables and chairs covered in dust, waiting for people who will never return. Seabirds now fly over the decks, resting on the railings where people once leaned to watch sunsets. The ship is becoming a part of the sea, sinking slowly into the water, turning from a place of joy into a ghostly reminder of dreams that ended too soon. The abandoned cruise ship in the Red Sea is a powerful sight, showing how even the biggest and most beautiful places can be left behind, swallowed by time and nature. Now let's uncover the topmost drone discovery ever. Number 1. Underwater train graveyard in New Jersey. Deep beneath the waters off the coast of New Jersey lies a secret that many people have never heard about. On the ocean floor, a collection of steam locomotives from the 1850s rests quietly, forming an underwater train graveyard. These old trains were discovered by divers by accident and are now explored by underwater drones that capture their silent beauty. These locomotives were never used and were mysteriously dumped into the ocean, leaving many questions about why they ended up there. Covered in sand, rust, and surrounded by small fish, the trains are still recognizable, with their large iron wheels, smokestacks, and thick metal frames standing strong against the currents of the sea. The cold water and layers of sand have helped preserve these locomotives for over 170 years. Barnacles and sea plants have started to grow on the trains, turning them into artificial reefs where sea creatures now find shelter. The underwater world has made these trains part of its home, and fish swim through the windows and around the wheels, making the trains come alive in a new, quiet way. Drone footage shows the eerie beauty of this underwater sight. The dark outlines of the trains appear on the sandy floor, creating a mysterious and beautiful scene under the blue-green water. Each part of the train, from the big wheels to the chimneys, tells a story of the past, carrying the memory of an era when steam trains were the kings of transportation. The underwater train graveyard off New Jersey's coast is a hidden piece of history, showing how even heavy iron giants can find a resting place in the quiet of the sea. It is a place where the past and nature come together, creating a peaceful underwater museum that tells stories of dreams, transportation, and the strange journey that brought these trains to their final stop beneath the waves. What do you think about these discoveries? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more celebrity gist. Before you go, watch the other videos on your screen.